Yeah, check that out. Hi, I'm Peter Birch, and today we're going to be looking at eggs, that's right, and preparing for eggs because it's egg season here in Australia, that's right. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for finding me. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to keep up to date so we can all join the adventure together. So today we're going to be talking about these bad boys here, that's right, eggs. Righto, as a reptile keeper, that is the goal that we're looking for. We're looking to get these big, beautiful eggs. That's right, these gorgeous things right here. That is the aim of the game. Now, before we get to there, we know there's so many other things that we need to do throughout the year, which is basically feeding and cleaning. That's right, all the hard yards, the feeding and the cleaning. Now, typically, a female snake needs at least 26 good feeds to produce a really good clutch of eggs. So that means for 26 weeks of the year, we're going to feed them and make sure they're getting a decent sized food item to continually be able to produce what we want, which is the eggs. That's right. So what's happening at the moment, all the females have gone through their pre-lay sheds. Basically, the whole system is, you know, we feed the animals throughout the year, then we go through a cooling cycle. Now, I breed a lot of antaresia, so with the antaresia, we only need to manipulate those temperatures just slightly for a very short period of time, really. So, you know, 5 to 7 degrees will cause most of the antaresias to start breeding. And typically what happens is, you know, you get your children eye go first, followed by your maculosus, then the Stimpsoni, and then closely followed by the Pathensis. So typically, for me, that's the order that they sort of run in, as in production of eggs as well as everything else. So 26 good feeds throughout the year. We get them into that area where we get really good body weight. We're talking 300 grams plus for the children eye, the maculosus, and the Stimpsoni. Now the Pathensis, they're a little bit smaller animal. So, you know, we're talking about 200 grams plus is really good size for the Pathensis, and hopefully we're going to get some really good egg production out of that. Now, once we've fed them and we've manipulated those temperatures down, we start introducing the males to the females, and then the females should be receptive pretty much straight away. You'll see the tongue flick or the tail flickering. The females will then basically most of the time lay down or smear a bit of pheromones so that the males can follow them, because out in nature the females move throughout these areas, maybe through 3 or 4 different types of males in their different areas, and then the males would have to follow those pheromone trails to follow the female to be able to get the honor to breed with her and hopefully get his genetics to pass on. So once we've got the males and the females breeding, then what happens? Well, basically, you know, they'll breed a few times. The females will then, if everything's going right, they'll switch on and they'll ovulate. So basically, the females will swell up really big. They'll get this really big mid-body swelling. That means that basically everything's fallen into sync. Now, if the female ovulates before your male gets to do the job, you've missed the season. That's right, you've missed the boat, boys and girls. So you've got to try again next year. Now, if the male has mated and then the female ovulates, that's a good sign. But the thing is, you got to remember, some of these males, the very first time they breed for that season, there's a good chance that they could throw a whole heap of junk, in other words, not very fertile semen, into the works, and then we're going to get a lot of slugs. So basically, in my experience, slugs comes down to the fact that the female's done the right thing, but the male's been given, he's given her all the wrong stuff to start with, all the garbage basically. And so then what we want to do is, as the females are getting closer and closer and they're getting prepared to lay eggs, what I do then is, after they've had their pre-lay sheds, and then we start counting down from there, we give the females a lay box. I always put the high box in the lay box. Now, previously, I've just basically had the lay box, flipped it upside down, put some bedding in that, whether you use vermiculite, which I've been using a fair bit of, because vermiculite's really easy to use, and it is typically a clean product to start with. Or we can use sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss is another good thing that I've used previously for lay boxes, and then the females will get into them like this. You know, this female here is sitting in the lay box, nice and cozy. So as we're getting closer to these females laying, I look at the dates. Now, typically it's about 3 weeks between an ovulation to when the females prelay. When the females go into their prelay, it can be anywhere from, you know, sometimes I've been caught off guard, from 23 days up to 30 days. There's another female there. Up to 30 days. Some of the biggest species, even olives, can go a little bit longer than the 30 days after they've had a prelay to dropping eggs. So we want to offer lay boxes. Then the females will do that, and then basically when the females are ready, they'll lay their clutch of eggs in the lay boxes, which is really good with the vermiculite, and that makes it a lot easier for me when I go through to separate them later. So I've done a lot of maternal incubation, and I always have done, and I really find it very satisfying. And you know, even with the bigger snakes like this carpet here, you know, she's getting ready. She's all chunked up, basically full of eggs, and she's had a prelay, and you know, it's not far now from her to have the countdown to get ready. So they lay their eggs in the box. I can then take the boxes and the eggs. Now, some of the females I'm going to leave on the eggs because maternal incubation I found is absolutely amazing. But what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to try and do a bit of both maternal incubation and artificial incubation of everything, so you guys can get to see it all happen. Now, I'm using the over water method, the suspended method, and this is a large sim tub. They're not very often available in Australia. I was lucky enough to do a lot of traveling in the US, and I purchased a fair few of these guys. Yeah, that's right, I purchased a fair few. So here's a few in my incubator. That's right, so that's my incubator, and you guys are going to love that when we get that fired up and get a lot of the eggs going. At the moment we just got a few surprise clutches coming through, just like this clutch here of spotted pythons. You know, these guys just bam out of nowhere, but that's all right. We've got some gecko eggs cooking already, some smaller tubs, so we can use a whole variety of different things when it comes down to artificial incubation and different types of incubation. And I hope to cover that more for you guys as we progress through the series. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Make sure you give me a like, give me a good thumbs up, really appreciate that. Make sure you hit me up on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, guys, and we really appreciate your support. Thanks so much for watching CrittaCam.